Hello guys, welcome to a very interesting episode that we have, because no, this is not what the tech, is not what the click. It's a very interesting podcast session that we have right here. And of course, if you just stumble into this particular video, because it will be spread out evenly for the creators that we have over here. For those of you who are stumbling upon this particular video and you see my face, my name is Adam Lobo from Adam Lobo TV, who will be the host for this particular session that we have. And with me, I have three very handsome and very talented gentlemen. Starting on my right, we have Mr. Keshav, so you can feel free to introduce yourself, buddy.
So, hi guys, I'm Keshav Chugh. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Imaging at vivo Global. I primarily handle the camera effects and planning for all the overseas markets for vivo Global.
Fantastic. So Keshav is representing Vivo specifically. And next to him, we have Bobby.
My name is Bobby Tonelli. I'm a content creator, an actor, host, and love photography, talk a lot about cameras and tech and all that great stuff. And
Fantastic.
Good to be here.
So Bobby, you're representing Singapore.
I'm representing Singapore. I guess you could say that, yeah. Not necessarily the Singaporean face, but yeah, I'm representing Singapore.
It's the Quilo from Singapore. And finally, we have Alvin. So Alvin, tell us about yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Alvin. I guess from Taiwan, but I'm actually Malaysian, but based in Taiwan. Yeah, so I'm also a content creator, a YouTuber. I do reviews video. I also do travel vlogs as well.
Now, one of the main reasons that we are actually having this conversation is because for those of you who know the content that I produce on Adam Lobo TV, I always shoot on a cinema camera, like a Blackmagic cinema camera. And it is a great camera, but one of the biggest creators' pain point is the fact that, after everything is shot, right, we have to go through the process of grading the footage. We need to transfer the files. And that is why, every time when we go on trips, I need time to edit. I always talk to the people behind the scenes, the brands. I say, hey guys, can you just give me at least 20 minutes for me to unload the footages and come back again? But of course, one of the reasons why we are here, and if you see this wide angle camera, which Nicholas is showing, we do have the vivo X300 Ultra shown in a different configuration in order for us to shoot everything very nicely and clearly. And it all depends on how you can actually shoot. And it also depends on how much that you want to use to make your overall footages look great. So it is great that we have these conversations, because we are going to show you footages, not only on what I shot, but also from even what Keshav has shot. We have some amazing photography that has been done by Bobby, where he travels a lot. Speaking of traveling a lot, even Alvin has also some footages as well. But let's start here, right?
Yeah.
We want to talk about the creators' pain points specifically. Now, in 2026, a lot of people are picking up cameras. Like I mentioned about cinema cameras, but more creators, and especially for the both of y'all, which is Bobby and Alvin, you are also shooting outdoors. There's aerial shots, there's underwater shots and stuff like this. Yeah. Can we start from Bobby specifically? Can you talk about your main creator pain points specifically, and what is your biggest friction when it comes to just going out there and just shooting, Bobby?
I think Alvin and I can probably agree on this one. I think it's what camera to bring, what camera to use. Because I think, we're spoiled for choice in this space, because I have everything from 100 megapixel medium format cameras down to action cameras, pocket cameras, smartphones. And sometimes we're imagining the scenarios that we're going to be shooting, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. And it's like we're thinking about what to create, but we're not creating.
Let's talk about smartphones in general. Yeah. How does that solve and how does that replace your current pain point then?
I mean, I think, there's a couple of factors. Obviously, there's trends now of being more authentic on social media, which now, instead of everything looking so cinematic, it's great to have it once in a while, but it's also that realist, that kind of relatability. And I think smartphones add that naturally to it. Yeah. But there's also those that really want to take phenomenal photos and then also great looking video as well. But this it's still times being authentic. So I think for smartphones, they have really just, over the last number of years, where cameras have sort of plateaued in a lot of ways, and how close, as we're going to see later on here, how close these things come to replacing some of our mirrorless camera systems. It's crazy.
Alvin, one of the reasons why I said sounds like Alvin, because when we had a launch in Lijiang for the vivo X300 Ultra, one of the main things I saw is that you brought in your huge bag. Yeah. And you had like a mini studio.
Camping gear.
Yeah, it was a camping gear.
All my backpack.
And I remember even Keshav was saying that, bro, you have bigger production than our current production team. Right? So I remember you mentioned that. So you're the kind of person who has like multi devices, like you have like your
Everything.
POV and stuff like that. How does that particular workflow break or make it for you?
So I just like what he said, like I'm that kind of person that brings everything, right? So I'm so worried about that when I see this kind of scenario, this kind of scene, that is so beautiful that I don't have the chance to capture the highest quality. So I'm the kind of person who bring everything with me. I have the mirrorless camera for the B-roll. I have the small action camera for the POV shots. And I need to bring all the tripod, all the monopod as well. But, you know, I'm aging. I'm almost like 37. I can't always bring everything like 30 kilos on my backpack or 20 kilos like every single day. And I'm also a diver, a skier. Like, not every scenario can bring everything on you. Yeah. So that's my biggest pain, like for now. But nowadays, I can actually, when I was like outside running gun, I can actually pull out something small and compact and shoot like maybe 80% or 85% like the mirrorless camera. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So we have heard the pain point coming from Bobby. I've talked about it very quickly, and of course Alvin. So we get the focus on Keshav here because he has been in Vivo for how many years right now?
8 years almost now.
8 years, guys. And if you watch my review of the vivo X300 Ultra, my in-depth camera review, I mentioned about this thing called the Vivo Blue Talk. So remember, if I told you all specifically in our podcast and also in my review, I said about how Vivo takes our feedback and really put it in their heads and try to put it in the cameras. This is one of the guys who is definitely in charge of that because he takes our feedback very seriously. So now, Keshav, there's extra work for you. But with that being said, from both Bobby, Alvin and I, can you really give us the overview coming from Vivo's standpoint? Like, what are they really trying to solve even before the X300 Ultra was even introduced, buddy?
So what we want to do is give the users, and specifically with the Ultra, the professional users and the content creators, give them a tool that actually fits in their pocket and actually solves the problem of, you know, having to carry so many lenses and so much equipment and your tripods and your shooting kits and everything separately. And this is why like the Ultra has the sensor parity, right? So because in flagship cameras, what you'll see is the main camera is usually good or okay, but the ultra wide or the telephoto, there will always be a compromise here or there, and mainly on ultra wide. But if you think about cinematics, in cinematics, the ultra wide is the most important lens, because if you're shooting landscape or you're shooting, you know, a developing scene or opening scene of a YouTube video, you need the wide angle lens. And when you have the 14mm lens and, you know, after the video crops and everything, that is the most ideal focal length for video. So we wanted to give all of them main camera lenses. So main camera sensor, main camera lens. And so a creator like Alvin or Bobby or you don't have to actually choose your frame based on, okay, my phone can only do 1x, so I have to frame it like that. So we wanted to give them like full flexibility. And this is how, so your creativity is based on you, not on your equipment. And we wanted to bring that to a phone. And if you see like in a camera, when you're shooting with a larger camera, you know, if you just change lenses, so you still have the same sensor and you have the same quality, same kind of stabilization if you are using a mirrorless camera. So we wanted to bring that to a smartphone and just make it very convenient for people to go out and do run and gun shooting, like Alvin was just mentioning that he did in Germany. So at least it can cover most of your shooting. Like there are some scenes, like of course, like you use Blackmagic. I see so many Blackmagic cameras here. I cannot expect you to replace all your Blackmagic cameras with Vivo phones, but it fits into the workflow very seamlessly. And what you can do is, because we have ACES log as well, so it works like a very good B-roll camera for you. And if you want to do some product shots or something while you are also shooting with Blackmagic, so it works completely, just seamlessly fits into your entire workflow. And because of the ACES workflow is that when you're in DaVinci or when any software, when you're doing, you just follow the same color grading process. So sometimes you wouldn't even know which footage is from the camera or which footage is from the phone. So this is our overall target we want to solve for content creators.
That is fantastic. Now, you did talk a little more of the convenience factor of having all the accessories. Can you just go very quickly in terms of the color science? Because you did talk about it towards the end about how you need to match the footage, right? Because, of course, you have your standard Rec 709 and stuff like that. Talk to us about how the new color science on the vivo X300 Ultra specifically and the color palette helped when it comes to matching cameras and also make it look like a smartphone, but at the same time, you can match it to other cinema cameras per se. Talk to us about the color science.
So the 300 Ultra's color science, I think, is the biggest upgrade we've had in the last few years. It's not hardware, so maybe people online don't really truly understand it till they use it. But the refined color science, both in video and photo. So we are moving towards less HDRE look in photo and video, and moving towards a more perceptual look. So what you see is what you get, instead of just compressing the highlights all over again. And also, having APV log in video. So APV log is like the bit rate is so high, it's higher than some larger cameras as well. And you have so much bit depth and color data that's inside that file that content creators can actually go all out on actually editing their footage if they want to do the colors. But what we also wanted to do was give you flexibility pre-shooting. So in pre-shooting, we have now so many color styles, and you see like some other brands, you add filters, filters in your videos, and then you cannot shoot in 4K. So that's why the 4K master color video, that means like you have the same quality filters, LUTs and the simulations we have in both photo and video, and you can do them at 4K 60. And the best part is that you can actually modify the look using the palette, and you can add grain or vignetting or soft highlights, or you can change the color temperature of the highlights to get that cinematic look and just lock it in. And if Alvin wants to share his look with Bobby, he can do that. Just scan a QR code and they can share the looks between each other. Yeah, I gave them my two best LUTs.
They're very good
today.
Very good.
And the whole part of that is that it's also about community and trying to understand color. So talking about the cinematic style, like for example, we have the film look and film style. So everyone keeps saying, like couple of creators came to me and said, this is spoiling me because I don't want to color grade anymore. I just want to shoot this. So, the film look is actually not a LUT. So film look is a film simulation.
Yes.
So it's a completely different thing. Yeah. So because we are doing 4K 24. So 4K 24, usually if you do on a smartphone, there'd always be a jitter. Yeah. Because the shutter speed is really fast, right? So we use AI to add motion blur inside the video. We add halation.
Oh, I had no idea. That's interesting.
Yeah, so the motion blur to make it look cinematic, that is all AI based. So we are doing like guesstimation of where the next frame will go, and then we are kind of adding frames in between to make it more blurry. And just to add that cinematic look to the feel. And then we have things like halation that you get from carbon prints, ECN2 carbon prints, and the halation, and also adding things like vignetting and grain into the movie. So we are just giving like a complete package to content creators. It's like, you want to make cinematic video, you just point and shoot and post.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's interesting is that if you guys have been following Vivo for the longest time, they've always known to be the photography king. It's very interesting how we have diverted or, have expanded from just typically, the best smartphone camera or the camera king is the vivo X200 onwards. I remember that's where you had that. But one of the things that I definitely, and we'll talk about me a bit more later on in this video, is that how it has also transformed to be a very good videography king as well. So let's go back a bit and talk about the photography side of things, because we are going to be showing you all real footage shot by each one of us for you to get a context, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. At least you can kind of understand that it's not all about the talk, it's about how we use it as well. But just going back in terms of the photos, Bobby, this is going to go to you because you took some amazing photos we have.
Thank you.
So there are a total of maybe about 5 photos that we have, which I will show it on the screen right now. And let's look at this particular first photo, and I will show it to everyone in the audience.
Yeah, so I was in Lijiang, and obviously I think the culture there is quite unique. And it's sort of this, I guess, Tibetan cowboy with a little of that, I don't know, I mean, this is just me paraphrasing, so I apologize, I don't want to offend anybody, but this is just my Western eyes seeing it. But I found it to be, the colors are so rich, the people, especially with the makeup that they have, they do this sort of this cat animal look and things like that. So I thought it would be great. And people were very friendly there. So I just asked if I could take a photo of this girl and her friends. And I snapped this portrait. Because obviously one thing about the X300 Ultra, or the X series of phones, is the portrait mode. They've always been known to have a fantastic high resolution telephoto sensor on it. And especially when you're pairing it with the lenses, it's even more so.
Yeah, so for this particular second photo, one of the things that stands out to me is that the towards the edge detection is so good.
Well, you know what?
So talk to us about that.
What's interesting is that previously, and a few years ago, when we saw smartphones taking portrait modes, it was this cutout.
Yeah.
And then obviously the depth mapping wasn't quite there yet. It was slowly getting better. But I really noticed it with the X200 Ultra from Vivo. When I first tried that phone, I'm like, my God, what is this? Right? It doesn't look like a smartphone anymore. And the X300 Ultra is taking that up a step. So it's this natural fall off with beautiful bokeh. Obviously, you can change the bokeh to be different Zeiss looks because of the Zeiss partnership, from sonar to planar, things like that. You have all these different options. But naturally, just out of camera, it's gorgeous.
I agree. Like for me, it is nice that Vivo has added that biota and all that effect, but the natural look itself
Beautiful.
does not make it look like a smartphone
Actually,
camera.
that's where the Zeiss expertise comes in, because
Nice.
nobody knows better than Zeiss is how the background fall off will look like in each scenario. So because we are doing a lot of it using AI as well, so for our models we can use the data that Zeiss gives us.
Nice.
So we can actually
Fantastic.
use that for modeling.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So not only you took photos of people, you also took a photo of our very friendly animal over here.
Yeah, I love going to the zoo in Singapore. So
Yeah.
the Mandai Wildlife Reserve, I'm there a lot. They know me probably.
So talk to us about this tiger photo, buddy.
So this is with, I believe, with the 400 millimeter lens, the telephoto extender lens. And I mean, the detail is just unbelievable. And I think what I wanted to do is, obviously the 400 is new to the 300 Ultra or the Ultra series. And so I wanted to take it and try that out. And I was very pleasantly surprised. There's HDR to this, but the HDR, as we talked about, and I think Keshav, you probably could talk about it, it's perceptual HDR, as you called it. So it's not like the old HDR where the highlights and everything is just...
It's like watching
Flat.
on a
It's flat.
TV.
Yeah,
So it gives you that Zeiss pop.
Yeah.
And it naturally, but at the same time, the contouring where it's natural, and obviously the colors are a little bit enhanced. I put just a little bit of tinge to it, but I mean, right there, 95% of that image is right out of the phone, I was shocked. I mean, and that's JPEG. I didn't even shoot this in RAW. This is JPEG only.
Nice.
And this also of a lion right here as well.
So now we're going to go towards the lion. So Bobby's going to react to this and talk to us about this.
This is with the 400 as well too.
Okay.
Because they're quite a bit of distance away. And I think what I found, especially with the system, is in really good daylight, because obviously with the 400, you got stabilization. I believe the aperture has to be stopped down to get better stabilization, right? So it really shines in good light or nice sunlight coming across, and it just captured it beautifully. I mean, this is the best stabilization I've seen out of the Ultra series thus far, with the 300 Ultra, and the 400 on top of that, which is, we haven't seen that before out of any smartphone, is having that kind of range.
Exactly.
And it blew me away.
Talk to us about this little friendly guy just giving you a look. It's like, what are you doing?
Please don't ask me the name of these animals, like the primates. I just don't know. I'm not,
But it really looks like a portrait rather than
it
a
is.
wildlife photo.
Yeah, he literally looked at me for a second, and I just sat there and I snapped the photo. And as soon as I got it, I'm like, I got it. You know what I mean? I think this is either with the 200 or the 400. You have to take a look.
It looks like the 200.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit wider. Right? It doesn't have that telephoto.
But these guys are far away though too. That's the thing. They're very far away.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is that I find with this is that with each of these lenses, let's say for example the 200 and the 400 are going to be your best optically in terms of sharpness and natural. Then after that it gets more into the image enhancements. Obviously it's cropping down into the sensor more. But with the 400 as well, you get that. But that shot just blew me away. And I was like, when you're out there, I mean, as a photographer, Adam, you know this, and Alvin, you know this as well. Keshav, you know this because you love photography. It's like, you know when you got the shot.
Yeah.
And you're
Money
like,
shot, yeah.
that's it, I'm good. I can walk home, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was that shot. I said, I'm out. I'm good.
Fantastic.
Done.
You can send that to Nat Geo.
Yeah.
Alvin,
Yep.
back to you, buddy. Now, as a person who uses multi-device workflow, this time around, like you went to Germany and Austria and stuff like that.
So the footage we're looking now is the 4K 120. This shot when I took this one when I was in Austria, Salzburg. So I just came back from there. And then that was the moment that I realized that a smartphone is so important. Because when I was shooting this one, everything happened so suddenly. I have the mirrorless camera pointing on me, shooting for the arrow, and then suddenly the birds stop flying around. I was like, I need to capture this one. And so I just immediately think of getting out my smartphone, switch it to 4K 120, and then just capture it. And then you can actually slow it down to make it like more cinematic.
Which we will slow it down in post for y'all to see how it is. Then talk to us about this particular footage then.
This is the stories I post on my Instagram, and none of my audience realized that I shot it with a smartphone. Because normally what my workflow is, I would actually use my mirrorless camera, turn it to vertical, and then shoot it. And then at the end of the day, I would go back to my hotel and load it to my computer, and then color grade it in DaVinci Resolve, and then send it back to my phone, and then upload
Post it.
Yeah.
Happens to all of us.
Yeah, that particular shot, I was like, this is so beautiful. And then I switched it to the video mode. And nowadays with the X300 Ultra, we do have the film look inside. So we switch it. I switched it to film look, and I just shot that, and I just uploaded immediately. And no one realized that it's shot from a smartphone.
Got it. There is a footage that you took in a cafe as well. Talk to us about this one. Like what was going through your mind when you were like, hey, Sally, I want to take out my phone and just shoot this.
Yeah, that was the shot that I really want to share like immediately. So I don't need to go back to the hotel and color grade everything. I just use my smartphone and shot it with the film look, and everything looks so cinematic. And I can just post it on my stories.
I think that's the point of stories, right? That you want to shoot the moment at that point and
at that moment,
and then just
share it immediately. That's the stories that happen.
You are
immediately.
living the moment.
In the moments, exactly.
But living in a moment with quality is also important. I think that's one of the reasons why Alvin used to do that workflow of taking the mirrorless camera, shooting it, and then wait, I go back and then I just translate it and uploaded it.
Exactly.
So
I think as content creators, we are all very OCD about quality when we post online.
Yes. Not everyone though. Like I do know people it's like, it's okay, I'm just going to post up stories and just like go on CapCut and just do a rough edit. But I think the people who are sitting in this table are not like that. So that's why
unfortunately, no.
It is an unfortunate thing if you relook at it, because while everybody's posted like 20 videos, we are still at one. But then again, that is how our audience are, right? Keshav, you took some amazing videos as well, which was quite interesting because his exact role is to guide us. He was guiding
Indian
us
technical support.
like in case we go through any issues and all, but he started taking out the phone and he started shooting. And I'm going to show you guys this particular footage that he took, which was also at Lijiang. And he even had a very nice screenshot of the new video Pro
video
interface.
mode,
As a person who shoots Blackmagic camera, if you look at the back of the Blackmagic camera, the interface looks exactly like this. So I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant, which means that you don't have to download a separate app per se. But besides the app, and if you want to touch about the app, I would love to get your thoughts about it. But run us through about this particular video and what do you see behind the scenes when you did this 4K 120 FPS compared to what other people like look at this?
So mainly, like you said, this is when we are doing the photo walk after the launch day in global launch. So basically, at my core, I am also a photographer and filmmaker. That is what I did before becoming a product manager. So when you see a scenario like that, you want to shoot. Right, it makes you want to shoot, and then all I had was my phone, and this is all handheld. I wasn't even using like a gimbal or something. This is all completely handheld footage, and basically I'm shooting on 14, 35, 85, or 200 and 400. So just moving around in between the lenses, and this is like just a combination of B rolls from from Lijiang. So I named the video Postcards from Lijiang. So it's like all like short 3-second postcards, video postcards from there. So I shot this all in APV log, right? So APV log, you can see the amount of depth of color and data that I'm able to get out of this. And this uses the official Vivo LUT. So, you know, in Vivo's website, you can download the conversion LUT, but we also provide the 5 color styles that we have, like classic, negative, and positive, and rich, the new color signs, all colors. People can actually download the cube files and, you know, color grade themselves in the album, or if you want to do it in DaVinci or Premiere Pro, all those things as well. So just wanted to do that. And talking about the Pro Video mode, the Pro Video mode was actually, you know, we wanted to have, when you're shooting video, we wanted the camera to have a little bit of a soul of the Pro cameras. You know, and the convenience of the Pro cameras, because there are some certain things like waveforms or histograms or seeing the metering and those things that filmmakers need when they are shooting, and they need everything on one click away. So the normal video, even though it's very simple, it doesn't give you too much information when you're shooting, and especially in log. So in log, that we wanted to add monitoring as well, so you can upload your own LUT, so that you're going to use in the final LUT, and you can use it to monitor. So I had added this LUT, and I know how the final video would look like. Of course, I will make some polishing later, but you can do the monitoring beforehand, and adding those kind of features, and then, you know, giving me flexibility at, if I want to shoot at 24 FPS and I want to shoot at 120 FPS based on the scene, what I want to slow down. So those kind of things that it really gives you a convenience. And just imagine if I was doing this on a mirrorless camera, I would be carrying 5 lenses with me, or like a 2 zoom lenses and 2 premium, prime lenses. And then whole day I'm just switching out the lenses and the ND filters and the CPL filters
as well.
So you have to keep switching. So you just miss the shot, right? So like I travel a lot for work, and I like to travel. So for me is that convenience that, you know, just take out and shoot. And my kit was attached, so I was shooting with the kit, this like the handheld grip the whole time. So it's just like the phone is hanging with because we have the lanyard as well. So it's just hanging with the strap, and then okay, I see something cool. The dog is running. Just take out my phone and run behind the dog. So
for this particular footages that you did, it was not using any of the telephoto extender. It was just on the phone.
So couple of clips in between there are with the telephoto extender.
Okay.
So like I was using all mainly 5 focal lengths. So 14, 35, 85, 200, 400.
Okay.
So I was just shooting like run and gun. So because the lens is also like I'm carrying like in my satchel, I'm carrying the lenses, and if I see something, immediately just come up and start attach the lens and start shooting.
Exactly. Before we move forward, can you talk to us about the professional production workflows? Because you did mention about how we can use this as a B cam per se. So what you shot, for example, over there, and if you use another mirrorless camera, just run us through very quickly on how we can match that when it comes to the professional production workflow. So
mainly we follow the ACES pipeline.
Yes,
so we are ACES certified. So Academy of Cinema, we are certified by them. You know, if you go on the Vivo website or even in the phone, there is a link that you can download the DCTL file for conversions to the ACES workflow and ACES CCT. You can actually just same level. So basically after that one conversion, the DCTL conversion, your file from like a Blackmagic or like a Sony camera or something.
Lovely.
And this all sits in the same space with the same depth, with the same color signs. So after you have made that conversion, all 3 cameras are sitting in the same color sign.
Fantastic.
So the color grade you apply on one is the same you color grade. So you don't have to match each individual clip. Because then it's the same waveform for all 3.
Because to be honest, if y'all do shoot in professional workflows, my biggest issue is always trying to match the Sony footage with the Blackmagic footage, especially the magenta tint and all they have on the skin tones. And knowing the fact that now makes it even easier for us to use this with whether or not using a mirrorless camera from Sony, a Fuji, whatever. So that is actually very good. Now, another very important thing that you all need to know is that I did mention earlier that I do have like a comparison video side by side, which I'm going to show you all in a very short moment, between the iPhone 17 Pro Max and also the vivo X300 Ultra. Because another thing that a lot of people do not talk about is the amount of noise level. and also the lens flare, which happens in a lot of smartphones, not even the iPhone. It even happens on the best of the flagships out there, right? So talk us through what is happening over here on the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and why do we not see the similar lens flare on the vivo X300 Ultra? So I'm going to play back this particular footage, and then you can kind of see it, and of course I'll show it to the audience as well.
So what you see mainly here is, the highlights flaring in the video. So this is where Zeiss is so helpful to us, because we are the only company except Sony which has T-Star coating. So the T-Star coating is actually not only on the glass. So each individual lens element inside has T-Star coating on it. So 5P 1G lens, so we have glass element and plastic elements in the glass. So each lens element inside has individual coatings on it to get the T-Star certification. And the thing is that these flares and these reflections or something are cut off using that coating, and that is such an important thing. Now we have the ALC coating. First we used to do the GLC coating, so different levels of coating, and that has also improved over each generation. We have improved those coatings as well, to make sure, because I have a very good friend in Zeiss, his name is Oliver. So we always have this saying, we have done some briefings before, and we always have this saying is that he has this saying is, every pixel that is lost in the lens that doesn't reach the sensor is wasted light. So if you can get the best quality of raw material to the sensor, the more your final dish would cook better, right? So it's basically light is your raw material, like your vegetables and your meat. So
I got it.
So if you want to make a very nice dish, you have to get the best quality possible on the plate first. So that is why I think we spend so much R&D on optics, and we really have to thank Zeiss also for the collaboration and how much expertise that they give us.
Another thing which I need to tell you all is that because I particularly took this video just last night, is also the color accuracy, because when I took the footage, if you all see it right now, the color accuracy on the vivo X300 Ultra was exactly how my eyes perceived it. But the iPhone 17 Pro Max, they made the white balance to look so balanced over here. So what are your thoughts about the color accuracy when it comes to night, and how does Vivo does it so well? Because we all know smartphones looks amazing during the day. So I'm very mind blown by how great when it comes to color accuracy, especially for a night situation.
So mainly if you shoot in the new color science, so in video we also have Zeiss Natural, but the big advantage this time is we have the refined color science. So if I don't know if a lot of people know that we have a separate sensor this time for color sensing. So we have a 5 MP multi-spectral sensor on the back. So that sensor's whole job is to calculate color. It's feeding a data line to the main sensor and basically trying, because the main sensor only reads in RGB. So we have a 12-bit multispectral sensor. So basically it's only reading color. It's not reading information. So we are now then combining those multimodally. They were combining those two pipelines together to make sure the camera can understand color really well. And it helps us, we have separate algorithms for AI AWB and AI AE, based on which scenario, how much we have to expose and how much the dynamic range has to be. So all those calculations are happening in real time, and then you're shooting it in video. Doing it in photo is not hard because you're shooting one frame. But doing it in video, say for example, 4K 120, right? So 4K 120, you are doing that calculation for 120 times every second. And non-stop. So then that's why people say, a 4K 120, why does it take so much storage? Why does it, sometimes the phone will heat up, because that is amount of computation that is happening on device non-stop. So that is, a lot of things are going on, behind the scenes, because we just see the screen.
Yeah.
But the real magic is happening on a lot of levels under the camera.
Now let's talk about efficiency, because we talk about pain points, and the next topic I definitely want to talk about efficiency. I did say that we do have a bunch of different accessories over here, and I want Bobby, as a person who use a lot of different grips and gears and stuff like that, give us your rundown on the availability of the grip and the telephoto extender.
Can you pass me that thing?
Yeah, sure.
There we go. Get the cage over here.
There you go.
Get the vivo small rig cage. Look at this bad boy here. I feel like I'm Roger Deakins, you know?
Yes.
No, look, I think one of the things about what Vivo's done very, very well, especially in the photography and video space now with the lens here, you know, we saw a number of years ago, we saw prototypes of phones coming with lens attachments for better optics.
Yep.
We saw from other manufacturers, but they never came to fruition. And I think it was the X200 Ultra, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
X200 Ultra
was the one that really brought it to the masses. Now, obviously, that was only available for China's market. I had an opportunity to get a unit.
Nice.
And the moment I tried, I was like, I thought it was funny, but at the same time, it's like, this is the future of smartphone photography and video.
Yep.
Because now we're able to take optics from Zeiss, the collaboration, put onto really good sensors, and getting expanded reach beyond digital zoom in a way that's unique. And then when you put together these kind of accessories, which we've seen for, you know, these have been around for a lot of smartphone manufacturers, but Vivo's kind of packaged it with themselves. We saw this at the X300 Pro launch in Shanghai.
Yeah.
And they were like, we shot the entire thing with the X300 Pro.
But that was just for us.
Yeah. And they were like, but this is not for sale. They're like, no. And they were very tight-lipped about it because it's got a fan built in on it, obviously to keep things cool because you're running for a long period of time. And now we have available for the X300 Ultra. And obviously it's made by Small Rig. I mean, this is a really nice thing. So you can actually just turn these handles here if you want to adjust it accordingly. Very flexible, but adds a lot of stabilization. Because when you pop the 400 or the 200 on, as good as the stabilization is inside of the sensor, which we're talking like class leading like CIPA ratings, right? It's still, you know, it's physics.
Yeah.
Yes, physics.
But then when you got two hands and you're moving around like this, and I was trying this out in Lijiang as well, it just made it so much easier to use.
Yeah.
Now again, it's a large setup. It's not something you're going to use every day, but you have the option. And I love that they built this in. And there's two portions of this. One with the telephoto, and then there's also one where you can put an ND filter on it.
Yeah.
So in case you don't want to use this, but you want to use the 14 to 85, whatever, then you can just take this off, use that adapter, and now you have a full cinema rig that you can follow with.
And there are cold shoe mounts on it, so you want to add like mics or
even lighting
or
and stuff,
something
like the mini lights and stuff.
And you can go vertical if you want, and just these are NATO railings, so you can just kind of take that off and put this on the side here.
That's exactly what I did in Lijiang.
Me too. Obviously, you can take out the side just to give you an idea, but I mean, it's great. And then obviously you have this Bluetooth controller here too, which is nice. Sorry about that. So you can actually just control right there, which is awesome. And you can take this off and it can be a remote control for you. So let's say you want to film yourself, you put this on a tripod, stand up a bit of ways, and then we just need an external monitor, which we can figure that out, how to do that, and then just record.
Yeah, HDMI, you can attach one with HDMI,
So there's so many options with this now that it just makes filmmaking with a smartphone, it makes it fun.
Yeah.
It just gives us options.
And this does not weigh 30 kgs like what Alvin's been bringing.
I mean, Alvin will find a way to make it 30 kgs. I have a feeling you will. You'll put a 7-inch monitor on this, won't you?
I'm
joking. But you know what I mean? Like, it gives you the flexibility to really rig this out in a very cool way. And we're starting to see that even in the last NAB with action cameras trying to rig it out to be, you know, cinema cameras. But then you've got something like this now that you can do that with. So it's becoming like a camera that you can make phone calls with, as opposed to a smartphone. It's a really good camera that makes good calls.
Yes, exactly.
Last year in China, we had the tagline is, you know, buy a camera, get a phone free.
Very good point. See, there you go. Coming out straight from Vivo itself. Alvin, we talked about the extender, but I want you to talk about the footages that you shot over here. It's one of my favorite aspect ratios, which is 2:1. All of my YouTube videos are at 2:1, which is one of my favorites because it gives you that very nice wide aspect ratio, especially for smartphones.
Just now we were talking about the film look, right? But there's another one in the video which Keshav also mentioned that's a film style.
Yeah.
So it actually looks cinematic, like the ratio of the video and also the motion blur of the video just come out straight from the camera.
Yeah.
So whenever I see like this the big scene, especially in Germany or Austria, I look at the scene, I was like, no, I have to got this shot with the film style. Yeah.
That is beautiful. That is stunning.
Yeah, talk to us about, like, for example, how as a creator or people who are an aspiring creator, how do they know or what would make them feel like, oh, I want to use this particular film style? So when you were taking this particular video, I want to understand your creative process. What made you make the decision? Hey, I think this film style. Is it like you tried all, or you knew which one exactly that you wanted to go?
I mean, for me, I knew instantly because you know that there are like so many videos on YouTube that you know that they try to make it very cinematic, like for the opening scene. And they have the crop, like slowly crop from 16:9 to 2.4. Zoom. And then they have the sound effect coming, zoom. And there's a very big music coming in. That kind of shot, you need to shot it with the film style.
So speaking of film style, one of the things which, this is also a very interesting shot because you are using the very important lens, which is called the 14mm. Which a lot of people said you don't need ultra wide lenses.
No. What I was talking about. This is the establishment shot. You
Look
have
at
to have ultra wide.
It's a 2-for-1, and at the same time it's a 14mm.
Yeah.
It really gives you the establishing shot. So
I really like that lens because as a vlogger, you know, we often shoot like this with the extender. I always shoot like this, like to film myself. But with the other phones, like you can't get that quality if the lens is not good enough. But now I'm willing to shoot with this phone like this to shoot the arrow, and it looks so good with the log profile. 4K 60, I can color grade it in DaVinci Resolve as well. To match the other B-roll with the mirrorless camera.
Fantastic.
Wow.
This is so convenient. Like, imagine, like every day I have to carry the mirrorless camera with the Joby tripod and then just hold it like this, like 3 kg for all day long for 14 days.
Wow.
You must have very strong forearms.
Biceps, big biceps. Okay, that's fantastic. So this shows, guys, that you don't need to always use log, although people like me and the rest of them do appreciate log a little more, especially Keshav as well, since I shoot raw. So the film styles would be one of your go-to if you are maybe dabbling into this for the very first time. Keshav recently went to Phuket. Hopefully had fun over there.
Long vacation.
It looked like a very nice trip because we want to talk a little more on the log recording. So you went to Phuket and took this particular video, which you can see right over here. So Keshav, just run us through what exactly you are trying to tell people in this story.
So my whole idea was like finding cinema everywhere. So I'm just literally sitting on the beach and having a beer, and you know, people are passing by and I can make a cinema out of it. And like, you know, so what I did was, what you would see here is 3 focal lengths. So the top one and middle one and one, so it's like the bottom one is 85mm.
Oh, I had no idea.
So I was just like shooting same quality.
So which is 85?
The bottom one is 85.
This is 85?
This is 85.
Got it.
So I'm just sitting in the same space literally, and I'm not even like moving around. So I'm lazy because I'm on vacation.
Location mode.
Nice.
So and the idea was that this original video actually is in HDR on my Instagram. So I'll just plug. So you know, in the vivo camera app, you can the album app, you can actually shoot log and you can directly output in HLG. So you can output the video in HDR. So now because Instagram and YouTube Shorts, they all support HDR video. So you can actually go and convert to HDR, and then we have all the LUTs, you know, colored LUTs that we have available on our website. So you can add them in HDR. And then you can output like a classic negative HDR video right from your phone. So this video, I was on vacation, like having dinner, and I edited this video within the phone itself. Like I didn't even go into a post-production or put it in my computer or anything.
So
the whole original is in the phone.
That's fantastic. And just quickly let us know, how can people download the LUT exactly? They go to the Vivo's website?
So Vivo's website, I will give you the link. Maybe you can add it in the description as well. But if you go to Vivo's log and you press the information button, there is a download now link there as well, which will directly take you to the log.
Yeah, so anyone who's actually having this vivo X300 series phones, Ultra specifically, you actually have the option to do so. Now, I have footage which I took in Lijiang, which I put with the 400mm extender when it was without the cage, and I actually used that. And one of the things is that if you feel like you do not want to use the standard LUTs which is provided by Vivo, you can always go online and get other LUTs. So what I've done with this particular footage is to, even though I shot this footage when I was in Lijiang, which is quite a while back, but only yesterday I decided to play around with putting the Rec 709 and then putting the teal and orange. As you all can see right now, it is as simple as just putting the conversion LUT and also putting the teal and orange kind of look. So it makes making cinematic videos like this. And what was the thought process for the flexibility of Vivo when it comes to the log recording, just as a very quick conclusion?
So, we wanted, this year we wanted to be like the leaders in video.
Yes,
Vivo has
talk
been,
to us about that. Yeah.
Vivo has been a leader in photography for a long time, and everyone always said, video, do video, make better video. So this year is the first one, but we have worked on this for over 2 years. It's not like we just worked on it like a couple of months and put it to the market. This is something we've worked on for the last 2 years and brought it to market now. Log video is so important because with Ultra and also for that matter with the Pro as well, we want to target professionals and content creators. And now if you see on Instagram or even on TikTok or something, there are a lot of young generation who's, because it's so accessible now, they are getting into cinematography and trying to make those reels and travel reels and something. So we want to give them a very convenient and a very simple tool that can do basically everything that they would need from a video camera. And also if they don't know how to color grade, so we give you both. We hold your hand and give you all the color grading options that you would need, but we also give you like pure log, like APV log. That is the highest quality log you can get on a phone. And then if you want to experiment and learn color grading by yourself, you can also do that.
Fantastic.
So just giving people all the possible options and, and we want to continue doing that in the future as well. We are really working very deep now on future generations and planning and really like talking to you guys. I'm just listening to feedback all day. And then in my notes app, I'm making, okay, next year I have to add that. Next year I have to add that. And, this is like not just me, all of my team, and I have a very large team back in Shenzhen, and we all work really hard, and all of us are very open to feedback. Because you guys are the final end user, so we are always listening. Like in Blue Talk, last year you give me feedback, I can put it in this year. The
exposure thing, holy mother of God, that worked.
And on the Ultras, Blue Talk, like Alvin and Bobby gave me some feedback. I'm already putting it in on ODS.
Yes.
So we are always listening to feedback and trying to make our products better every year. And maybe this year, I think people will really appreciate when they get to use the Ultra, like how much work we have put into it.
Fantastic. We're going to go into Alvin's footage as a run and gun situation, which are 4K 120 FPS log. Now, one of the great things is, of course, you shot in different focal lengths, which was actually very interesting. So talk to us about the log footages that you shot in different focal lengths and how it has benefited you as a creator as a whole.
Yeah, so for this one, because we also took this in Lijiang, I actually rig it in this cage. Yeah. And then we use the 4K 120 in log mode. And then it's so stabilized. Like you can, just like what Bobby is showing us, I actually changed it to like this one. And then we shoot like this. And then it's very stable. And also the other shot from this one, I didn't put it on this case, but I think this phone is very fun. I put it on a phone gimbal. And then also with the 300 centimeter selfie stick, because it's so light, I can actually put it on a selfie stick.
Yeah.
And then I extended it. I saw a tree over there, put it on the foreground, and I just put all the way up and slowly crane down. It looks like a crane shot.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does look like a gear, like a crane.
Yeah,
So that's actually
slowly
quite
come
interesting.
down and then to the building behind me. Yeah.
And then we have one more footage over here, which you have also shot as well. So walk us through this particular one as well.
This one is also with the cage, but also with the horizontal version.
Okay.
Yeah, also 4K 120, so you can show the flags behind me
Yes.
slowly, cinematically.
Yeah.
I always get excited when I see horizontal videos because I hate vertical videos. So whenever I see footage horizontal, I say hallelujah.
This is our age, Adam. This is our age. You know? Yes.
I can't wait for vertical video to just say bye-bye.
I'm also of the opinion that, cinema only happens horizontally, not vertically.
Yeah, baby.
That's why we are all YouTubers.
You
like-
use the
Yeah.
film style.
Yeah.
The first thing the camera will tell you, please shoot horizontally.
Fantastic. Okay, so we've shown all the footages right now. So let's go through the conclusion from each and every one of y'all, and then we'll just wrap up this whole entire discussion. Let's start off with Bobby. So Bobby, what's your conclusion about this? Because what do you feel and how does this help the new wave of creators when it comes to moving forward with a smartphone like the vivo X300 Ultra, buddy?
I mean, I think it really just opens up just so much opportunity. And I think, having the optical choices that we have now, having two lenses and plus the really good sensors for the main camera now, we have a 200 megapixel sensor, which is larger for the main camera, as well as the telephoto and a great ultra wide. And then the rigs. I mean, it just opens up, it allows us to be freer and create more. And I think we're seeing this from just the smartphone industry as a whole. And I think what Vivo's been doing and really in terms of this innovation side of it is it's fascinating. Just as a fan of tech and a fan of cameras and cinematography and photography, it's fun. And I think we talk a lot about the specs, but we just got to go to the fact that this is fun.
Yes.
The
Fun
fact that
is
we
a
can
word,
capture.
man. I love it.
I mean,
Yeah,
look
I
at
love
the
it.
images that we've been able to capture show over this last 45 minutes or so, right? I mean, 5 years ago, we wouldn't be talking like this. There would be no discussion about this whatsoever.
Yeah.
But now that we can have smartphones in our pocket that can also replace some of our mirrorless camera systems, I know Alvin, it's going to be tough for you, but no, but
I actually did it from the trip. I just came in from Australia and Germany. I actually did something crazy. Like I shoot every of my single photos with this phone. I never shoot. There is no single shot on my mirrorless camera, which is quite crazy to me.
Yeah, just sell it, bro.
I mean, but we have to also be real too. Is that there are limitations here at this point in time? Right? I mean, like, look, these are smartphones. Are they going to replace our mirrorless cameras for everything? No. And I think there will always be a discernible difference, but with computational photography, with AI, with the engineering, with the optics, all that comes into play. We are getting to a point for a lot of creators out there who do not need the ultra professional gear. This is going to be more than enough for a lot of them out there.
Totally agree. And I agree with what Bobby is saying is that because my conclusion, which I actually typed here, is that my Blackmagic Cinema 6K or even the 12K camera is not going anywhere. It's still here. But it's good that what is changing is that now how the smartphone fits into that particular workflow. Is that the same synergy or the same idea that Vivo has in mind, Keshav?
So exactly the same point I also have.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you there are 2 points to this, right? One is the barrier to entry. So we want to remove the barrier to entry to cinematography, right? So it is the young KOL or young cinematographer who wants to shoot. So not everyone can afford to buy a mirrorless cameras and 5 lenses when they are starting out. But they still want to learn and they still want to, get like a professional look video. So that is one user. And the second is you guys. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to replace your mirrorless cameras, but I want to give you a very valid B-roll camera that you don't mind shooting as a B-roll. Or like Alvin said, he was shooting himself in Austria and then suddenly he saw something. You don't have the time to go quickly change the lens and change the settings and shoot. The scene is gone. So you have a camera in your pocket that will give you that quality that, that can sit very comfortably with other footage from your like larger cameras, and then nobody actually will in the end will notice. We will notice because I know.
Yeah.
I know. Because we are the creators, so we see everything very fine-tuned things.
Yeah.
But in the end user, the end consumer will not notice the difference when those two scenes are cut together.
Yeah.
So that is the whole thing that we are trying to do. And also, with this year and next few years, we'll try to keep making it better and better, and then close the gap. Like they are converging towards each other now. Optics are.
I was
getting
about to
better.
ask you what is the future plans, but you already.
Yeah,
going
so this is gonna get convergent because. With computation and computation now it's about 10 years old, but computation is still really young. The speed at which computation and AI and ML is growing now, it's like 6 months ago, which was the latest, is now completely outdated. That is the speed at which AI is growing now.
Wow.
So like the next 2 or 3 years will be really interesting in imaging what we can do. Some people like still have complaints, AI, but I understand, but the thing is to achieve the kind of effects that where we want to go, there has to be computation. Because physics doesn't allow it otherwise.
Yep.
So we are trying to beat physics using computation. So of course it'll only get better in the future.
Right.
And now what I see is also traditional companies now slowly starting to come towards smartphone computation as well. Like they are adding like the face tracking and the beautification and all these things. Even Da Vinci added it. So so
the old man look.
So these two industries are slowly converging into each other.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
So that is the conclusion of the whole entire talk. Is an amazing stuff. Now what I'll do is that I will put all the social media accounts both on YouTube and especially for Instagram, like even Keshav, follow him, follow Alvin, and also follow Bobby in terms of what they have created during the whole entire time as well. In the end of the day, the conclusion, like what we want to talk about right here, is that the best creator tool is the one that keeps up with you and keeps up with your workflow, and that's how everybody coming from each or different walks of life really makes the overall flow very important as well, because the vivo X300 Ultra is built to do exactly that. So with that, we'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for being part of
thank you so
this
much.
Thank you.
whole
This was
entire
so
thing.
fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have more questions I want to ask you offline as well.
Yeah. But of course, as always, on Adam Lobo TV, watch first and then buy smart. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys in our next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.